Hello.
Hello, Harold. How are you?
I am good.
Good.
I am good. I'm getting ready for the shear here.
Uh-huh.
On 16. Is that correct? Yeah, 16. Boom, 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 boom. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you diving in Yom Kippur?
Young Israel. Young Israel main menu.
Who are the chazanim there?
I don't know.
Mark
I'm sure.
Goldberg? Is
I'm
Mark
sure Mark
Goldberg?
Mark Goldberg's gonna the Muslim
Uh,
and Chakras. You look at some young Turks in there.
Mark's very pleasant. Nice to listen to.
Very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. You in for your sukkahs? You gonna be here?
I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here. How about you?
Yep. Staying.
You staying?
Yep.
I think we're the only two that are going to be in Los Angeles. I think everyone else is going to be in Israel.
You gonna come to the
Or
kids?
Gaza,
Are you
depending
gonna
on the
come to
heat.
the? You gonna come to the kids?
My kids are going. No,
Where?
Yitzi's going, and my two daughters are going.
To Israel. All right.
Nini, where is he?
Oh, I don't think there was a notice change.
No, let's see it. Nope, we're still on for 7. Boop, 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 boop.
Can't believe it's October already. My gosh.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. The last quarter of the year.
Last quarter. That's right.
Yeah.
Now's your big chance.
Chance to do what?
Undo the wrongs. Oh, the first three.
Oh my gosh, I think more than a quarter. It doesn't say anything. Yeah, I guess stick around. Uh, oh, there we go.
Think. Yep. You
All
know what?
right.
Hi.
Hello, Aristotle.
We are Tez Zion, 16.
Okay.
So we brought a Kal Vachomer why a non-Kohen should not be able to eat the korbanos. So we say Mala Balmum Shekain Asabo Korev Kamakari. Because a Balmum has a side of a Chumrah because even a Korban that's a Balmum is possible just like a Kohen who is a Balmum. Well, Tome Yochiach. It's only a Tomadika Kohen that's the problem. An animal, a live animal, cannot become tummy. But mala tame shekain metame, somebody who's tame has a certain chumrah because you can be metame others. But balmum yochiach, because a balmum cannot make somebody else a balmum. Chazra din lori zekri zev lori zekri. That's a shavash ben. What's similar between a tom and a balmum? Shemuzharin, they both are not allowed to do the avoda, and the im avdo chilalo. And if they did the avoda in their state, they would be mechalal the kodshim. Afani avizar shehu muzar. The Zar is also warned about that. That im avad chilal. That if a non-Kohen does the avoda, he's mechalal. Where do we see them? Inolan, muzar. So maybe it's from Vinazrumi Kodshei Bnei Israel. That's the source of the Isra that a Zar cannot do the avoda. Well, then we don't need a Kal V'chomer that is mechalal. We have it chilul begufei ksiv be. It says v'lo yichalalu. Ella, we learn it from a different pasuk. V'shamru es mishmeres ol moed l'chol avodasa oel. V'zar lo yikrav aleichem. Okay, well, the limud from Balmum and Tomei, ikil mifrach malat sava shabash ben shlahut b'bama. A balmum, you're still not allowed, even though you have a bama, you cannot offer a balmum there. You cannot offer it in your state of tumah. But a zar, there is no concept of kohen by a bama. Every Jew in his backyard could do his own korbanos. So lo tema tama yochiach, fine. Get rid of the combination between tama and a balmum, and elema oinen yochiach. A person who lost a relative and hasn't buried him yet, he's an onen. So he has been warned not to do the avoda. And if he does it, he's mechalalit. So it's a combination of tuma and oinen to teach zar. Mala oinen, shkina osir b'maiser. But maybe an oinen is more chumrah dik, because not only can you not eat kochim, you can't eat meiser. A zar can eat meiser. Balmum yochiach. He's also mutter b'meiser. Chazra din lo rizek rizeh. So what's similar between a balmum and an oinen? Tzara shavash and shmuzharin, that they have a law not to do the avoda, and if they do it, they're mechalalit. So a non-Kohen is also warned not to do it, and if he did it, he's mechalalit. So the Gemara says, I can ask a kasha on this combination of oinen and tumma hachanami lifroch malat tzara shavash behen. I'm sorry, balmum and oinen. Shken lo hutra b'bama. A balmum and an oinen are not allowed to do an avoid at the bama. But maski floor of summer ben rava uman lemalon that oinen is osber. Who told you that an oinen is osber b'bama? Dil mashari b'bama. Maybe an oinen can do a korban at the bama. Rav Mishashe Omar asya b'kal v'chomer from a Kohen who does the avodah when he's sitting, Yoshev. Ma Yoshev she'oichel. Now, a Kohen who's sitting, he's allowed to eat korbanos. But if he does the avodah im avad while he's sitting, chilel, a zar she'ena ochel, a zar does not eat kodshim, eino din shem over chilel. So certainly, if he did the avodah, he would be machalel. So we can say no. Mali Yoshev shken posel edus. Eidim have to stand when they give testimony. So they're puzzled when they're sitting. So B'Yoshe, there's another tzad chumrah regarding edus. So the Gemara answers, Miyushav Talmid Chacham. We're talking about the Talmid Chacham who comes to give testimony. He's allowed to sit. Mala Shem Yoshev shekain posel edus. Okay, there are exceptions, but the general rule by Yoshev is you posel edus. But Shem Yoshev lo proch, that's not a kasha. And if you're going to tell me it's a kasha, I can work another kal v'chomer. Asya miyoshev u'mechadeh mehanach. Bring a combination Yoshev and either balmum or tomei or oinen, and Yoshev in one of the other three will teach me about zaras. V'yoshev shekosher b'bama minolon. So how do you know that a yoshev is permitted to serve at a bama? Amar Kroy, it says la'amod lifnei Hashem l'sharso. When is there a commandment to stand and do the avodah? When you're lifnei Hashem, which is in the base of Mikdash, which is the Makam Hashchina, v'lo lifnei bama. It's not the normal place of doing the avodah. It's not lifnei Hashem, and therefore you could be yoshev to do the avodah there. Okay, so our Mishnah said oinein is posel avodah minolon d'chsiv in the Parshas Emor, which talks about a Kohen Gadol that his parents died. He cannot be misabel them. I mean, Hamikdash lo yetzei v'lo yichalel. He continues doing the avodah. He does not leave the Beis Hamikdash, and he does not mechalel his avodah. But ha'acher, a regular Kohen, shelo yotzah chilal. If he's an onein, and he went ahead and did the avodah, he's mechalel. Rabbi Elazar from a different source, mehacha. There was a famous, when the Nesiim brought the various korbanos but the Chanukas HaMizbeach, so the sa'ir that was brought l'chatas became invalid, and it was burnt because Nadav Avihu had died, and the Elazar v'Tamar were oinanin, and that's why Moshe thought it had been burnt. But Aaron says, do you think it was my sons who was makriv ani crafty? I, as a Kohen Gadol, I'm an oinain too because I lost my son. But we've learned that Kohen Gadol, when he does the avodah as an oinain, he does not passel. And therefore we learn from there, Michlal, the inu ikrav shapir ishtaruf. If Eina Chanami, the brothers, had been makriv, it was good that it was burned. Mashma, that a Kohen Hedyot that does the avodah baninus passels the korban. Rabbi Elazar, my time in law, Omar, why doesn't he bring the proof initially? Minamidash lo yetzei by Kohen Gadol. We're just deducing the next statement. It doesn't say b'mefurash that a regular Kohen who does the avodah is mechalalit. The idich, what is the man d'Amar who learns it from that pasuk? My time, huh? Lo Amar meheni krivu. How come he doesn't learn it the same reason the other way? Rabbi Elazar learned it from the proof about Aaron HaKohen and his sons. Because Ksovar, he holds that the chatas over there was burnt not because of aninas. It was mipnei tumah. It became tummy, that was burnt. Okay. So far, when we ask the question, an onein, how do we know that he can't do the avodah? We learn it either from an Hamikdash lo yetzei, that a Kohen Gadol can do the avodah, the others cannot, or the statement of Aaron, Hein hayom ikrivus chatason. Comes the yeshiva Rabbi Shmuel Tana, Asya, we learn it, the invalidation of
the text.
B'kal v'chomer mi balmum.
She wants to give me money.
Learn it from a kal v'chomer, like this. Ma balmum she'oichel, a Kohen who's a balmum, he eats kodshim. But im avad chila, but if he did the avodah, he's mechalalit. Oinen she'ein oichel, and oinen is not allowed to eat. Eino din she'im avar chila, that if he did the avodah, he's mechalalit. So we say no. Mala balmum she'kein also bo krevin kama krivin. A balmum has a chumrah because even a korban that's a balmum can't be makriv, just like a Kohen who's a balmum cannot do it. So zar yochiach, because the makriv and the karev has nothing to do with zarus, and yet the zar is mechal avodah. But mal zar ein lo takana. Now, a zar cannot become a Kohen. He has no way of correcting his problem. But an onain, the next day after the death of his relative, he can do he's mutter. But balmum yochiach, because a balmum also, if he has a balmum oiver, a temporary mum, and yet it's mechalel. V'chazra din lo rizek rizeh v'lo rizek rizeh. Atzad ha'shavish ben shehein muzharin. A balmum and an onain have similarity. Shein muzharin. There's a law not to do the avodah v'mavdo chilo. Afani avi onain. No, I'm talking about a zar. We're talking about a zar and a balmum. So between the combination of a zar and balmum, the tzara shavashim teaches us that an onain, if he does the avodah, he's mechalalit. Heichen muzer. Where is he warned? Ilema. It says, the Kohen Gadol is warned if he loses a family member not to leave. That, and that's only Kohen Gadol, but a Kohen Hedyot will be mechalal. So then you don't need a kavach chomer. Because chilu begufik sivbeit. So what's the kavach chomer? Ella meheni krivu. He learns it from the statement of Aaron that you're mistaken. It wasn't my sons that offered it, I offered it, and therefore was mistakenly burned. But this is going according to the opinion that the reason that soyer chatas was burnt was because of aninus, not because of tum. So if we're going to learn the psul of anointing from a combination of balmum and zar, we can break that. Because mala atzad hashabah, and what else is shared by balmum and zarus? Sheken lohutra michlalo. They remain osir. You can't make a zara kohen, and a permanent balmum is a permanent balmum. There's no heter, but an oinain, he is permitted the next day, or he's permitted b'kohen gadol bichlal. So tamei yochdiach, because he has also a method of correcting. He can go to the mikveh, or it's permitted to bring a korban sibur in a state of tumah, and yet he is mechalal. But malat tamish came tamei. But somebody who's tamei has a stringency because he can tamei other people. Maybe that's a chumrah. So hanech balmum and zar yochichu, because they don't cause a problem to other people. Chazra din, right? And atzad hashem shemuz harin, right? Both the balmum and the zar are warned that if they do the avodah, they're mechalalit. So similarly, an onain is also warned that if he does the avodah, he will be mechalalit. So why don't we ask a kasha v'lifrach malat tzad hashabah? You know what else? A balmum and a zar and a tamei. You can even throw tumah in here. You know what they share? Shkein lo hutra michlol and it's kohen gadol b'korban yachid. A kohen gadol by a private korban. Those three things, balmum, zar, tamei. There's no heter for a kohen gadol to do by korban yachid. But in aninas, a kohen gadol who does that avoda, even if it's a korban yachid, it's okay. But shame tumah mia ishtri. The basic concept of tumah, that because it's mutter b'korban sibor, then there's no way to ask a kasher from that. So Rav Mashashe Omar, another source why an oinen is, if he does the avodah, is mechalalit. Asya kavachoyim yoshev. Uma yoshev she'oichel. A yoshev can eat the kodshim, but im avad, if he did the avodah sitting, chilel, onen she'ena ochel, enodin she'im avad chilel. An onen who's not allowed to eat, if he does the avodah, he certainly will mechalal. But mali liyoshev can posel edus. But a yoshev cannot give testimony. So we're talking about a yoshev tamid chacham who can. But Malashem Yoshev Shkein Posel, forget about the exception. The general rule is that they can't give testimony. But Shem Yoshev Loy Porach, that's not a kasha. And if you're going to tell me Vimtzim Tzlomer Porach, Asya me Yoshev u'mechad ma'anech. Combination of Yoshev, Balmum, Zar, Tomei, through its Sarashavushan will give you the source proof that an Onen that does the Avoda will puzzle. Not only that, the Mishnah said an Onen that did the Kabbalah puzzle. Amarava, Loishanu, Ela Korban Yochid, a private Korban. Aval Korban Tzibur Maratza, the Korban works. How do you know that? Kalvachomer mituma. Ma tuma shlo hutra michlal etzel kohen gadol b'korban yochid. A kohen gadol in the state of tuma, the kohen gadol is not allowed to bring that korban as a yochid. Korban yochid is not mukrav betuma even by kohen gadol. Yet hutra etzel hedyot b'korban sibur. If it's a korban sibur, even a kohen hedyot can do the avoda because a korban sibur you're allowed. Tuma hutra b'tzibur. You're allowed to offer a korban tzibur even in the state of tuma. So anina shehutra mechlol it's a kohen gadol. Being an onen is a leniency for kohen gadol because he does the avodah with his onen, even by korban yochid. So eino din certainly an onen then hutra it's a kohen yed b'korban tzibur. You would be able to do the korban sibor even in a state of aninas. So for regular korban, maskif rabbi law, we can learn a different way, and we can come up with different maskanas. We could say lo tutar aninas etzel kohen gadol b'korban yochid mikal v'chomer. Don't permit a kohen gadol as an onen to offer a korban yochid from a kal v'chomer. Rather, learn another kal v'chomer umat tuma. A regular kohen is allowed to bring the korban pesach, for example, in a state of tumah. It's a korban yochid. It's a korban sibur. Yet lo hutra it's a kohen gadol b'korban yochid. Even so, a kohen gadol could not bring a korban yochid in the state of aninas. But aninas shelo hutra it's a kohen hedyot b'korban sibur. Being an onen, there is no permit for a regular kohen to offer korban sibur. Then eino din shlo tutar it's a kohen gadol b'korban yochid. Then an oinen also, if your kohen gadol wouldn't be able to bring a korban yochid. And we could say v'tutar tuma it's a kohen gadol b'korban yochid b'kal v'chomer. We could allow a kohen gadol using these kal v'chomers in a state of tuma to bring a korban yochid. Uma, because we could say like this: Uma nina shlo yutar it's a kohen yed b'korban sibur. A regular kohen who's known in is. There's no exception for korban sibur. The only exception for korban sibur is tumma. Yet, hutra etzel kohen gadol b'korban yochid. Aninas is permitted by kohen gadol offering a korban yochid. Tumma shehutra etzel kohen yed b'korban sibur. A regular kohen can offer a korban sibur in the state of tumma. Eino din shehutra etzel kohen gadol b'korban yochid. Then certainly, even aninas should permit, or no, even tumma should permit a kohen gadol to do a korban yochid, or the lo tutar tuma etzel kohen hedyot b'korban sibur mikal v'chomer. We could say there is no permission for kohen hedyot to offer a korban sibur in the state of tuma, and yet we know that it is allowed. But that's the kashas that are being raised by all these problematic kal v'chomers. Uma ninas. A kohen gadol who's an oinen is allowed to do the korban yochid. Lo hutra etzel kohen hedyot b'korban sibur. But aninas is not a permit for a regular kohen to do a korban sibur. Tuma is, but not aninas. Tuma shlo hutra etzel kohen gadol b'korban yochid. A kohen gadol who's tuma is not allowed to do a korban yochid. Eino din shlo tutar b'kohen hedyot b'korban sibur. Then tuma should not permit a kohen hedyot to do it by a korban sibur. Yeah, you can ask kashas both ways. So every din stays the way it is. The halachas remain beteku, even based on these kal v'chomers, because the kal v'chomers can go both ways. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow also 7:00, and the tzorba will be at 8:00. Continue the tzorba.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you very much.